Why don't you identify your question and I'll come back to you. And the president and this entire administration are focused on that every day. I can go through the very long list of economic actions this president has taken. I know you work for Bloomberg, so I'm sure you're well.
Some of those cabinet members were caught off guard by the email.
Nobody was caught off guard. The president campaigned on reigniting the Trump economy and fixing the mess that was created by the previous administration. We know they created an economic and an inflation nightmare for the American people, and I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you like my predecessor.
Musk has obviously been doing a lot of work. He's been working every day, and a lot of the time weekends. He is designated as a special government employee, which means that he can only work 130 days per year. Is the White House expecting him to limit his work to 130 days, or are you going to work around those rules? Do you want to see him extend beyond the 100?
So today is February 25th, so I think we've been here about 35 days roughly. So ask me in another 100 days. That Democrats behaving like children would be the least surprising thing of the night.
Karoline just delivered an incredible press briefing, dismantling the woke Democrats one by one. This time, she went all in, exposing their shocking hypocrisy live on TV, starting with the issue of tariffs. Karoline didn't hold back. She immediately struck back with facts, shutting them down.
The president mentioned a little disturbance during his remarks yesterday. The CEO of Target says that consumers will likely see prices go up on everything from strawberries to bananas to avocados. How long should Americans expect to pay higher prices? Are we talking a week, a couple of days, a few months?
Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can assure the American people is that this president and this administration is doing everything they can. And I would remind you and everybody else in this room that it's because of the previous administration's economic policies that Americans were left with record high inflation. Inflation throughout Joe Biden's entire 48 months in office was at or above 3%. It hit record highs, as you know. And there's a whole list of what the Biden economic disaster this president was left to clean up. It's been a month, but he's working hard every single day to do just that.
Just one quick follow-up on the carve-out. Sorry to cut you off there. The U.S. imported $43 million worth of eggs from Canada. I know you mentioned some of the exemptions when it comes to automakers. Will there be any other carve-outs, including for eggs? We know prices are soaring for them.
I'm always puzzled. Why do these reporters show up with such angry, obsessed expressions, as if they're on a mission to take down Karoline Leavitt? They consistently frame their questions to elevate the woke liberals while trying to humiliate the right. But watch Karoline's stunning response. She doesn't just answer, she throws their nonsense right back in their faces.
Is open to hearing about additional exemptions. He always has open dialogue, and he'll always do, what's right, what he believes is right for the American people. But again, as for the egg crisis in this country, the president is wholeheartedly committed to ensuring we're increasing our egg supply, and we're also bringing down cost. And Secretary Rollins has been all over this issue. She comes from an agricultural background and family. That's why she's leading that very important department. She wrote an amazing op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. She's been all over the media talking about her plan. She has a real plan. The president endorses it. And he even, gave her an off-the-prompter shout-out last night to say, Brooke, I'm counting on you. It's an important issue. And this White House is working with Secretary of Agriculture every single day.
How does Karoline always have the perfect response to shut down these woke liberals? It's honestly amazing. If you recall this clip, you'll understand why Democrats always resort to distractions like egg prices instead of addressing their own issues.
Disappointing.
So you didn't stand up for anything?
The president got before the American people, didn't talk about how he could drive down grocery prices.
See, they're always fixated on prices going up, like it's the only thing that matters. Honestly, nobody's really concerned about egg prices right now. But of course, it's not just one senator pushing this nonsense. Another woke reporter had to bring up the same issue again.
The president campaigned on reigniting the Trump economy and fixing the mess that was created by the previous administration. We know they created an economic and an inflation nightmare for the American people, and I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you like my predecessor did about the state of our economy. We understand there are people that are hurting, and this administration is wholeheartedly committed to ensuring that those individuals see relief and price reductions and tax cuts and in less regulations that are are burdensome on their household and their businesses. And the president and this entire administration are focused on that every day. I can go through the very long list of economic actions this president has taken. I know you work for Bloomberg, so I'm sure you're well aware of them, but I can assure the American people that the president is very much focused on bringing down the cost of living crisis in this country that was created by the previous administration.
This is exactly how you shut down a foolish person, by using their own words against them. And this is why I admire Karoline Leavitt. She speaks confidently, knowing that these woke reporters aren't asking questions to help anyone. They're trying to humiliate and create chaos. But when that happens, Karoline doesn't just sit back and stay humble. She fires back and dismantles them, just like she did to this woke reporter.
From the president and his cabinet, where they're on campus tomorrow. I hope you guys are excited.
Since some of those cabinet members were caught off guard by the email
Nobody
from
was caught
Saturday.
off guard.
A few departments said they were caught off guard. The FBI was, the DOJ was.
Did anonymous sources say that, or did the cabinet secretary say that?
The cabinet secretaries and others have said that they were not aware that this was happening. So I'm wondering, will there be a give and take tomorrow at the cabinet meeting? Is Elon Musk or the president open to any type of dialogue about who is actually in charge of the chain of command of these workers?
I would reject the premise of your question, Jeff. The cabinet secretaries have not said that. I know anonymous sources, probably career bureaucrats, have leaked that to many of you in this room. But as I said at the beginning of this press conference, everybody is working as one team, and the president respects the decisions of his cabinet secretaries to tell his staff, their staff, not to respond to that email, because they did so out of interests of national security, and they don't want to obviously risk confidential information. It's pretty common sense.
That's just stunning. I love how she shut him down before he could even push his lie. Folks, these people are desperately trying to make the Trump administration look bad, but guess what? It's not working. Instead, they're just embarrassing themselves over and over again.
Sure, Jordan.
Thanks, Caroline. So, what does it say that the Democrats, while they couldn't stand for Americans or stand for victims, they stood for war and clapped for war and clapped for 5 more years of war?
Yeah, the president addressed that last night, I think, when he called out Senator Elizabeth Warren and said that, again, as I said in my opening speech, very telling that the Democrats refused to clap for American people and American interests and American priorities, but they did clap for the country of Ukraine, which, by the way, the president's working very hard to end that war. So Democrats should be applauding him for actually doing something about it.
This is exactly how common sense works. And if you noticed how the woke left just sat there, refusing to applaud anything Trump has done for America, then the message is crystal clear. These woke individuals aren't here to help. They're actively trying to destroy America from the inside out. But before we move on to Caitlin Collins, take a look at how she completely embarrassed MSNBC+.
Yeah. You've spoken recently about how what happened in the Oval Office last week gave Americans an inside look into behind-the-scenes discussions with Zelensky. Is this how he treated Joe Biden and just treated him disrespectfully and received billions of dollars?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I don't know if anybody in here asked my predecessor who stood at this podium about that, but there was a report from NBC News that President Biden also got increasingly frustrated with President Zelensky when he was handing out blank checks and President Zelensky kept asking for more. Joe Biden was quite frustrated with that. So again, as I've said repeatedly, Friday revealed the frustrations that this administration has had in closed-door negotiations with the Ukrainians. However, President Zelensky did put out a statement yesterday, which we believe is a positive step forward. And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has been talking to his Ukrainian counterparts. And so we're in the midst of this.
This is fantastic because these woke individuals refuse to acknowledge how badly they messed up over the last 4 years. Trust me, none of them, like Karoline Leavitt pointed out, ever asked real questions like this before. But even when they did ask, no one back then had the courage to answer them honestly. And finally, look who just showed up. Caitlin Collins.
Questions. One on the reprieve that is being granted to these 3 automakers for 1 month on the tariffs on Canada and Mexico. How did the president settle on 1 month?
The reciprocal tariffs will go into effect on April 2nd, and he feels strongly about that no matter what, no exemption, so that's where the 1 month comes from.
Does he expect them to be able to shift production within a month?
He told them that they should get on it, start investing, start moving, shift production here to the United States of America, where they will pay no tariff. That's the ultimate goal.
And on the conversations between the White House and the Ukrainians and the letter that President Trump revealed last night that he got from President Zelensky, Director Ratcliffe said today that the president has paused also intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Is that temporary or is that permanent?
I believe what the National Security Council told me in regards to that was that they paused or they are reconsidering the funding for Ukraine, as you saw, the pause on the funding. As for intelligence matters, I would refer you to either the National Security Council or the CIA as well.
But they're considering lifting or reinstating the military aid going to Ukraine, which they paused.
Again, it's a pause for a review.
This is exactly how Caitlin Collins operates. She doesn't actually want an answer. She just throws out one ridiculous question after another, hoping to trap you. But this time, with Karoline Leavitt, it's not going as she planned. I don't know why Collins never acknowledges a real answer or admits when she's wrong. But when it comes to Trump, he doesn't play her game. He just spits the facts right in her face.
Minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest there?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces, European forces?
The agreement will protect them.
U.S. forces?
The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots? What would
I
you
just
do
told
then?
you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why
they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions.
Why you have confidence that Putin won't violate
Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive.
People will ask why you have confidence Putin won't violate the deal.
Forget the Democrats. They only care about dairy and avocado prices going up. Everything else? Not their problem. Why would they care about saving lives? Why would they care about illegal immigration? They don't. All they care about is filling their pockets with taxpayer money while pretending to be on your side. Before I end this video, I want to show you a clip you need to see. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section, and remember to like and subscribe.
That's right, that mother steals. He's a thief. Yeah, Elon. He's a thief. You know what he did? He took my grandfather's Social Security checks away from him. Could you fucking believe that shit? The man depends on it, okay? He can't do nothing for himself, my grandfather. He needs to pay people to take care of him, okay? You got people that help him, caretakers, people that come and mow his lawn above his grave, okay, for the past 60 years, okay, that he's been dead. Who pays these people? You think these people work for free? And don't you dare take away my great-grandfather's paycheck away from me. I mean, away from him. The poor man's been resting peacefully for 100 years. Thieves.